Welcome back to Here We Golf. My name is Jay from Here We Golf, and this is Dan. Oh, Dan's on holiday. So, me going solo today. I will say before we go any further, I've got a black eye. I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not a boxer. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I just sneezed. It's the worst, most heavy, ridiculous way to get yourself a black eye. But I burst a blood vessel in the bottom of my eye after sneezing. Very glamorous. But yeah, I don't want you thinking bad of me, because I'm not. I'm a nice guy. So today's episode is guiding you through the Fantasy DP World Tour game. New DP World Tour season upon us, seeing where we go, and just a little bit of golf news from the golfing world. Not much to go on this week, as we're still in the infancy of all seasons. So yeah, let's get into it. We'll start this week with Fantasy DP World Tour, and you can win a ShotScope V5 by winning our 2026 DP World Tour Fantasy League. There are some things you need to do in order to be eligible to win. So make sure you scan that QR code at the top of the screen there, or you go on our socials. There's a link in bio. It's a short link, bit.ly link. Don't be scared about pressing it. It literally just takes us to our mailing list, our Google form, where we capture a email address from you. You don't even have to give us your name. It's literally just to send you updates on the fantasy and keep you updated with us. So yeah, this is how you do it, and I hope to see everyone added to the mailing list. You can also earn some vouchers if you subscribe to our podcast, which would be much appreciated. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please do so, just to follow your progress for the rest of the season in the league. So yeah, final prize for winning this is a ShotScope V5, one of the best tools when you're on the course. So brilliant. You get to, it even tracks how far you hit the ball, so you can, get your own numbers without even having to go to a TrackMan or the range too much. You can get out there, play, and then the TrackMan will even do it. It even sorts putting out. Well, it doesn't make you a better putter. It just tells you where you are on the green and how many putts you've holed and stuff like that. So, should we get into the new game? Must say though, Fantasy DP World Tour, there's been no communication whatsoever from you guys in respect to the new season. They took forever to make it live. You give us about a day or so to make our leagues, pick our teams, which is really, really annoying. I know all the questionnaire for the new stuff, for the new changes, only went out a couple of weeks ago. Why did this not go out mid-season? It doesn't make sense. It just seems like a bit of a rush job, but there's been a few little changes which we will go through. So yeah, first of all, we're going to go through the new format, the new game, because it seems a little bit different than it has been in the past few seasons. I'll leave it to you whether you think it's any better or what, but yeah. So before we go through my team, you've got 4 starters, which are going to be your starters. You've got 2 on the bench, and you've also got the chance to triple captain and bench boost. Just moving to this new feature, this is clearly being done out of feedback. So yeah, it seems like they've took the questionnaire responses, they've said, how can we make this game better? Let's introduce triple captain and bench boost, which I think is really, really good based on the fact that you've only got 4 players and 2 on the bench. So boosters can be only used once per swing and 1 booster per tournament. Booster will stay active for all 4 rounds of the tournament. So triple captain is brilliant. So you've got the likes of, last year you had Keris and you had Mr. Penn, Darren Sharp, fighting for that top position. If either of these had these sort of boosters, they would have been, Keris could have took that top spot off Mr. Penn. So it makes strategy a bit better when you're looking at the game. I really like this idea. I think it's really good, and I think it's something that I at least said in my questionnaire that I would have liked to see in this game. Let's go to the rules. So, the separate swing titles. So, swing and major titles, a new standalone section within the game, which I think it's quite nice to have something different to play for, not just a whole prize at the end of the season. It's something we've talked about on the pod. I don't know whether they needed to go this deep into it and change it because of the time they've given themselves to do it, but you know, it's something that they've added, and let's see how it plays out this season. So let's talk about how to play the game. So you pick 6 players per event. You get 4 starters, which are your active players, and you get 2 you put on the bench. The starters do count towards your points total. The bench do not, unless you sub them in. And you must designate one of your 6 players as the captain, and this points will be doubled. Your captain can't start on your bench for obvious reasons. It doesn't make sense that you do that anyway. Same as last year, each week your team will be wiped, so you must pick a fresh team ahead of the new week. Okay, all points scored by your starters count towards your overall and tournament score, and you can adjust your starter before each round begins, same as ever. 2 backup golfers on your bench. Bench golfers don't earn points for your team while on the bench, and you can use them strategically to cover poor form, injuries, or risky pick. And you can choose the order which you select bench players to designate priority. So the 5th player is priority 1, and the 6th player is priority 2. I really quite like that, to be honest with you. I think it's really good, because sometimes, like last season, I had Harry Hall picked, but he pulled out of the event to go and play in America. I ended up with Yannick De Bruyne, which wouldn't have been my pick, and I got overtaken in the league from like 5th to 6th. Something I'm glad they've worked on, but if you do miss your picks for the week, you have to obviously be designated a whole new team, and we don't want that, because you're going to end up with the absolute dross. I mean, you could get lucky, but it's very, very, very unlikely given how many players play in each of these tournaments. So between rounds, you may swap any starter with any bench golfer, and swaps cannot be made during an active round. So at the end of round 1, your player is nearly going to miss the cut. I mean, you can tell after round 1, really, can't you? You can then lash your bench golfer in. Makes it interesting, gives it in your hands, makes strategy more of a thing. I think it's great. Okay, selection cap. This is totally different, it seems. DP World Tour members can be selected to a maximum of 5 times per swing or phase. Now, it was only 5 times a season last year, so this makes it totally different. We were keeping Rory and Tommy and Marco back for the final end of the tournament. I mean, sometimes there's only 5 or 6 events in a swing, so whether they've got that wrong, I'm really not sure. But we will see. And it says another caveat here. If a golfer requires DP World Tour membership mid-season, his selection cap will increase to 5 accordingly, and vice versa. So if Laurie Cantor decides to go to Live, will we see him at 3? Not a big deal, I suppose. Like, it'd be worse if Rory sort of went to Live, which is not going to happen. Or Tommy, or, you know, the big guns. But I can't see it happening, to be honest with you. So another big difference in this year is the golfer's withdrawal. So you don't assign a replacement if they withdrew through injury, disqualification. Your bench member goes up. I really like that. I think it's really good. And you have up to the first scheduled tee time to make edits. We went over boosters before. Triple captain, obvious what happens, and your bench boost, you get all 6 scoring points. That's massive. If you all make the cut, and you get everyone scoring, you will rocket up that leaderboard, especially if no one else is doing it, or it's a Rolex Series event. So your boosters can only use 1 per swing, which is fair enough. And boosters do not roll over, so you may as well use them in the swing. It's going to be funny to see whether people use the boosters at the start of the season in the first month to first event to try and get ahead, or whether they keep them till the end. Just moving on to hole by hole scoring. So for an albatross or better, you get 20 points. Eagle 12, birdie 5, par 1, bogey -1, double bogey -3, and triple bogey or worse is -5 points. For the low round of the tournament, you get 10 points, and a round under 70, you get 5 points. And you'll see there the finishing position are worth that much up to the top 30, and Rolex Series tournaments are worth more. So you want to keep them players who you think are going to do well for the Rolex Series tournaments, such as the BMW PGA, the Genesis, etc. etc. Standings will be automatically added to the overall standings, and leagues have been created. So the Here We Golf League is set up and ready to go. It's called Winner Shot Scope V5 at Here We Golf. If you use that QR code, you'll get there. And we are just waiting for standings to appear here while the game is set up, and they will start the first round on Thursday. You will get your standings there to see how you're getting on. So yeah, exciting times. We will move to my team now. We're going to be totally transparent on this pod. We'll give you as much information as we can in order to help you succeed, and strategy will be a major factor this season. As you can see, my starters are Minwoo Lee, Cam Smith, Daniel Hillier as captain, and Cam Davis. My bench is Elvis Smiley and Ryan Fox. Just a bit of sort of information on why I've picked these. Last season, Elvis Smiley won this event. He was, he didn't just win the event, he really took off and did well throughout the whole season. I think the Australians and the South Africans seem to do well at the start of the season, especially in the South African events. So it's worth, going with these players. Daniel Hillier had such a strong end to the season, qualifying for the DP World Tour Championships, nearly making a PGA Tour card. So for me, Daniel Hillier is if he can continue this form in his home event, there's no reason why he shouldn't do any well. He shouldn't do well this event at least. Elvis Smiley may come in because he won last season, and it's going to be for either Cam Davis or Cam Smith because they are not members of the DP World Tour, and they've only got 3 picks each. Just looking at the percentage selection, we've got Minwoo Lee, Ryan Fox, Marco Penge, Adam Scott, Cam Smith, Rasmus Nygaard Peterson, Joaquin Niemann, Cam Davis, Hillier and Smiley at the top there of percentage selected. Another little one there is Mark Leishman. He did well in this last season. He proved to be a really good pick. Yeah, team is subject to change, I will say that, because it's, we've got a day or and a half to go, and my mind tends to work overdrive, as you've probably seen in the pod in the past. But yeah, I'm holding Marco back at least for a bit later on in the swing. He's had an illness and he's, concentrating a bit on the PGA Tour. So although he's playing this week, I just don't think he's going to do well. Adam Scott is either going to go in. Joaquin Niemann, best player in the world, according to Phil Mickelson, which has now been redacted. And Mark Leishman, David Puig. There's a lot of players there which could do really well, especially Kazuma Kabori ended the season really well, and we've got him there at 1% owned. One last player I would say that I'm looking at is, we mentioned him last week, Maximilian Steinleitner. He finished really well last season to make it onto this tour, so he's one to watch for us. And Wen Yiding is a great player to be in this category at 0% owned, despite his relatively low world ranking. Moving on to Dan's team, Dan has gone with Cam Smith, Ryan Fox, Minwoo Lee, Rasmus Nygaard Peterson after a great finish to last week, or the end of last season even. Joaquin Niemann, best player in the world, and Daniel Hillier on the bench. Similar tactics to myself there. We always seem to be there and thereabouts with our picks, despite not even discussing them, only on the pod. So yeah, that is about it for this game. We really want you to sign up. We really want you to be in with the chance of winning that shot scope. So please, QR code up there. Go to our link, bit link, small link in our bios on socials. And yeah, enjoy the game. We'll be here every week going through the game to see how we're getting on, see how you're getting on. And there's fantastic prizes to be won all season. Yeah, just a bit of housekeeping. We had Sami Välimäki, who we followed on the pod, with a great finish last week to win on the PGA Tour. Well done to Sami Välimäki brilliant, lovely to see him win. Really good player. So yeah, European dominating over there again, which is great. And there's rumours that Laurie Cantor may be going to live and snubbing the PGA Tour, so he clearly likes the money, or he likes it over there on tour. So we will see how that goes on. Nothing really much more to cover in this pod because, you know, start of the season, we're starting with a bang. So yeah, please get following, please get subscribing if you're not. It helps the channel, and it also gets you in with the chance to win some vouchers for Clark's Golf, which you can spend online on drivers, putters, bags, clothes, anything you want. So I've been Jay from Here We Golf. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Ta-ta for now.